The H1N1 swine flu virus is still spreading, and we want to give you an update on what we know right now. In fact, the World Health Organization says there are more than 10,000 swine flu cases worldwide. Almost 5,500 of those cases are here in the United States. The CDC has linked 6 deaths to the outbreak, at least 80 worldwide. In New York City, health officials say tests indicate a 16-month-old boy who died after suffering respiratory symptoms was not infected with H1N1. Meanwhile, drug makers trying to make a vaccine for the virus. They say that's still months away. But a Boston company claims it has a synthetic vaccine now that can be ready in just a few weeks. CNN's Dr. Sanjay Gupta is here now with more on that. So what does it mean, Sanjay, to create a synthetic vaccine?
Well, you know, the way that we make vaccines right now is pretty archaic, if you think about it.
From eggs.
Yeah, they use fertilized hen's eggs, millions of them, to create a vaccine. It takes months and months. What they do is they take the virus, as you can see there, they inject a little bit of it into the egg, they let it replicate in the white part of the egg, they take it out, they clean it off, and they attenuate it, which means they weaken it a little bit so it doesn't make people sick. It just gives them the inflammatory response. What they're saying at this company called Replican is that they might be able to create a synthetic vaccine. They look specifically at the genetic structure of the vaccine, of the virus, I should say, and they found 2 areas where they think they can target. One area is responsible for its ability to infect cells, to get into the cell, and the other is for its ability to replicate once it gets in the cell. And they say, you know what, we can create this series of proteins that blocks that. So if you have the virus in your body, it blocks those things from happening. So you might still have the virus, but it can't do any damage, so to speak. This has not been tested. They say they need a pharmaceutical partner to test it for safety and effectiveness, but they say, as you said, it can be made within weeks if it's all favorable.
So what's the deal? I mean, make it at least and test it, right?
Well, I think that's what they're trying to do now is get the pharmaceutical company to sign on. There have been examples of other synthetic vaccines in the past, so this wouldn't be a first. But, you know, I think, you know, we got to make sure those 2 questions are answered before we know whether or not this vaccine is going to be available to us.
Yeah. Well, in fact, most of the flu experts that we have talked to have said it is likely that this virus, H1N1, is going to sort of be dormant is probably not the right word, but go down, be on a lull during spring and summer, and then come back. But these people don't think that.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So the same company, the same doctors over there who are biochemists primarily, first of all, they were some of the earliest, some of the first to predict that there would be this pandemic. And they do it all by looking at the genetic structure of the virus and predicting how transmissible it's going to be. What they say, the bad news is, they think that this virus has the genetic capability to stay very transmissible even during the summer months. That's the bad news. The good news is, also looking at the genetic structure, they don't think it's going to be very lethal. Not going to be very deadly.
Yeah, because you would instantly think if it has the ability to transmissibility, that it would be really strong. Yeah.
But you can have something that's wide in scope, but not significant in severity. And I think that's a message that they're giving.
All right. Well, we are obviously still watching that story.